Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about my experience auditioning for the top 3 entertainment companies in Korea and what you can do to increase your chances of being accepted as a trainee. Before we get into the video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and also for you to leave a comment if you want to see me talk about a different topic. For a little background information about myself, I've been working in Korea for about 9 years as an actor, writer, producer, translator. But when I first came as an exchange student, I was about 19 years old, and my first goal was of becoming a K-pop idol, or debuting, I guess, and using that and transitioning into an acting career. It didn't turn out the way I would have expected because it's a very hard industry to get started. So back in 2015, most of these top companies would have auditions every Saturday. And what you would do is you would show up to their company building and stand in line in the cold with a bunch of people until they opened the doors. They would let you in, you would go upstairs and sit in usually a dance studio or an auditorium, and they would hand you papers for you to write your information on, your name, your age, your height, your hobbies, and they'd also ask you to pick a category to audition for. I recall for SM, they allowed singing, rapping, dancing, and acting. I believe JYP also allowed modeling at the time. Now, you would fill out the papers and you would just wait, usually for about an hour or two, and you would be led up to a room. You would usually be led up to one of their dance practice studios, and there would be a judge sitting at a table with a camcorder next to them, and they would shuffle through the papers and look at each one according to the participant that was auditioning at the time. To be honest, most of the judges had no interest in the people auditioning because, if we're honest, most of the kids auditioning don't have what it takes visually or talent-wise to even warrant becoming a trainee or even getting a second audition. At the time when I first came to Korea, I was quite overweight. I had been binge drinking a lot in college. I had been eating a lot of terrible foods. My first few auditions went absolutely horribly. I believed I auditioned to be an actor, then I tried singing, then I tried rapping, and no matter what I did, I think I went to like at least 15 to 20 auditions. Nobody cared. Nobody called me back. It just didn't go anywhere. And looking back, they were right to fail me because it just didn't look like an idol. And this is something that everyone has to understand. You have to be honest about your self-image. I know these days we have a lot of body positivity movements. I think that's great. K-entertainment is not an industry where that applies. You have to be skinny, you have to be pretty, and you have to have a certain look that they want to put on television. The audition you would do would last anywhere between 30 seconds to a minute. Usually you would perform the main chorus of your song or the main rap bar. If you were dancing, you were usually allowed to give them your own music and they would play it over the speakers, and you would step up and perform, and then the music would end and you were done. If the judge didn't say anything at the end of your audition and just, shuffled your paper away, that usually meant that you didn't pass and nothing's going to happen. Now, a few times I remember some of the kids in my audition group were asked to wait while everyone else went outside, and that meant that they saw something in that person that they wanted a little more privacy to be able to talk to them and maybe even have a potential second audition with them. What surprised me is that, yes, there were a lot of kids auditioning that weren't very pretty or talented, but there were also a good amount that were so pretty, tall, good looking, and they had some level of talent, but these judges just didn't care and moved their papers to the side as well. And it makes you wonder when you see the K-pop idols that debut, how they were able to get into the company. And guys, to be honest, if you look at a lot of their resumes, a good number of them were actually scouted from music festivals, or they were famous online for being very, very handsome. You have a very, very low shot of actually making it as a trainee from one of these open auditions on the weekends. I think I can count on one hand the number of times I saw a kid auditioning that actually got asked to stay or come back for a second audition. So I went to all the big companies. I went to JYP, SM, YG, and nothing ever happened. Even though I kept failing, I think I tried for the better part of 2 years into 2017 to get into one of those companies. I remember one summer I went back to the United States and I was able to get medicated for ADHD, and I took a medication that caused me to lose weight rapidly. I'm talking like 6-7 kilograms in the course of a month. I remember I came back to Korea and people were shocked at how skinny I was. My trainer at the gym was asking me like, who are you? What happened to you? Why do you look so frail? Ironically, that summer when I came back frail is when I started actually getting callbacks. The one company that I went farthest with was Dream T Entertainment. I don't know if you guys know, but that was the company of the girl group Girls' Day. Now, the Dream T Entertainment audition was different because For the first round, they usually would ask you to show up to the company, and if you passed the in-person audition, they would ask you to come back for a second round. But for Dream Tea, they asked us just to send an electronic application, put our picture on it, put our weight on it, and maybe send a video of ourselves singing, dancing, or rapping. Sent in a video of myself rapping along with my pictures, and they called me back about a week or two later to audition. I remember I showed up to a music academy to audition because their company building wasn't very big. I remember being in a holding room with about 6-7 other kids, very diverse, very different looking. And I went into the room really excited because I had failed like 15 plus auditions, and finally there was a company that was willing to give me at least a callback. I remember prepping all week for the audition. I literally didn't really eat or sleep much. I would wake up, memorize the rap that I had prepared. I would even practice my audition when I was walking along the street going to get some lunch, or when I was on the bus. I was obsessed over it because I knew that these kinds of callbacks don't happen often for most kids. I get into the room, and for most rap auditions, guys, you're supposed to do an acapella with no beat. But for this audition, we were able to bring our own music and our own instrumentals, which excited me because obviously you rap better with the music. Turn on the music, I perform the rap, it ends. Unfortunately, there's not much of a reaction from the judge. I see him shuffling my paper, and then when the music finally ends, he looks down and looks at me and he says, "Oh, so you were rapping today? Okay, thanks. Have a good day." You know what? He had every right to react like that, but I'd be lying if I said that it didn't hurt, because after so many rejections, I was finally able to receive a callback. I felt a small sense of hope because, all due respect to Dream Tea, it's a decent agency, but it's not an SM, it's not a JYP, it's not a YG. You know, the competition to get in isn't as fierce, but the fact that the reaction to my callback audition was so muted hurt me in my soul. I think at the time I was about 20, which is pretty late to start as an idol trainee. It's not like impossible, but it's very, very late to start because most kids start in middle or high school. So I remember going home very dejected and thinking, oh my God, like this might be it. Like this might be the end of my dreams of doing this, and I might have to find something else. Another story I had of almost making it into a company was I had been able to snag an audition for a unknown entertainment company near the Hongdae area. I had never heard of this company before in my life, but I saw them on an audition website. I sent in my profile, they asked me to come in. I auditioned, and they said that, oh, you know what, you seem like have some potential there, but you're obviously not well polished, you're not ready to debut, so why don't you come back next week with another song and we'll see how you do then. So I come back the next week, I perform, they're like, hey, you know what, Albert, we thought about it, we'd like to take you in, but you're not good enough to the point where we want to invest money in you. How about you come in as a trainee, you sign a contract, but instead you're gonna have to pay us for the training. Any rational person knows that that kind of offer is an absolute scam. You're never supposed to pay the company for training you. But at the time I was so desperate, I got really excited and I was like, oh my God, yes, like, can I see the contract? I'll send it to my parents, I'll ask my friends for advice, and I'm gonna start my journey of becoming a famous K-pop idol. Lo and behold, I show my mother the contract. She reads through all the fine print. She goes off on me and talks about how stupid you were to accept the audition, how it's a scam company, that they're probably gonna steal your money, and that if you want to come back home, you should not ever sign this contract. But at the end of the day, I didn't sign the contract because my mom was right. It was a slave contract that would put me in a lot of debt. And I know some other Korean entertainers have talked about before they debut how they were scammed. I believe IU fell prey to a similar scam where the company would make her sign a contract but make her pay for the training fees. And it seems to be a common occurrence. In Korean, we call it hagwonhyung, and it just means an agency that's not real and that makes money from potential trainees and then disappears. Luckily, I was still able to kind of work in the fringes of the idol industry. I had a few friends who were running companies and they asked me to teach some of their trainees English. I was able to help a few trainees preparing for Produce 101 by working on their English rap lines, by helping them with their pronunciation. And I got a good look into their daily life. Now, these kids were not at one of the big three companies. It was a relatively small company that was struggling. And when I saw what they had to go through, I thought it was almost maybe a good thing that I didn't get into Dream Tea or another small agency, because guys, if you want to be an idol, and I'm just keeping it real, it's not worth it unless you're in a really big company that can support and foster you, because most of these companies, 90 to 95%, are gonna go under. So if you want to audition, go for the JYPs, go for the SMs, go for the YGs. It's just the unfortunate reality of the industry. The name brand means a lot. Just from the name of your company, you're gonna book jobs. It's the same way in Hollywood, it's gonna be the same way in Korea. If you want to audition, The visuals are very, very important. Don't be like me and think that, oh my god, I'm cute, they're gonna accept me no matter what. No, you gotta be brutally honest about the way you look. Let's be honest, guys, body positivity is a good thing for society in general, but not for K-pop, okay? They still want the skinniest, the prettiest, the thinnest. You cannot look like a bowling ball and expect a JYP or SM to accept you unless they really want that as a concept for their group. You should work to cultivate a special look for yourself, something that'll make you stand out, because there are a lot of pretty looking people that want to sing and dance and act for a living. Look up your favorite idol, somebody you model yourself after. Develop a skill, whether it's singing, dancing, or rapping. Most of the idol groups, guys, there's probably one visual that isn't as talented as the others, but is so stunning that they make it on their looks alone. If you know that you're not the next Cha Eun-woo or Irene, then develop a skill like crazy. Become a vocalist like Chung Eun-ji. Become a dancer like Taemin from SHINee. Become a rap producer like RM or Suga or J-Hope. You have to find a niche for yourself to be able to survive. Learning Korean is an absolute must, obviously, but learning to be able to speak English, Mandarin, Japanese will be a plus, because the companies will be able to make money off you by putting you on different variety shows in different countries. You're only as useful as how much money you can make for the company. Unfortunately, my main piece of advice for those who want to end up becoming idol trainees is to lose a lot of weight. Get to the point where your jawline is looking like a T-Rex and you're prettier and skinnier than the competition, because at the end of the day, how you look and perform on camera is all that really matters. And guys, also ask yourself why you want to be an idol trainee. When I first came to Korea, I did it for all the wrong reasons. I did it because I wanted to be famous. I wanted it to be on TV. I wanted to leverage it into an acting career. Well, if your main goal is to become an actor, then just go for acting first. Immerse yourself in the craft. Take lessons, meet people, make connections. If you want to be an idol truly because you like being on stage, you like being on a team, you like going around the country performing at festivals, then do it, go for it. But if you're not sure you want that life, if you're not sure you want the constant pressure of staying skinny, constant pressure of netizens talking trash behind you, the constant pressure of producing banger after banger, constant pressure of making it into a top 3 company, because like I said, if you're not in a top 3 company, usually the idol's life is not worth it. The constant pressure of not making a lot of money until the debts to your company have been repaid. Think long and hard about why you want to do it. Trust me, it's not as glamorous as it looks. I used to work with Peniel of BtoB and Xander of UKISS when I worked on the radio, at all nice, talented guys who lived abroad for a while. You know, those Hyungs also had their own problems. Their lives weren't perfect and they debuted in pretty decent companies, albeit not top 3. But you really got to ask yourself why you wanted to do it. I remember talking to Xander and Peniel, and they just told me that they did it because they went to the audition without any expectations. And that's kind of how you should think about this too, guys. Go in with a positive mindset, but don't go in thinking that you're gonna become the next IU or V. The chances of that are very, very small unless you're really, really special and stand out.